Good morning. Welcome to First Unitarian Church in New Bedford, everyone. I am Karen Anderson, and I minister to this congregation as we minister to each other. We are a beloved community of people that believe everyone is worthy of respect, that science is real, that poetry is wicked cool, that the democratic process is a sacred thing, that we are all part of an interconnected web, and that the light and energy we share and put out makes a difference in the world. We are people of purpose, and if what you hear today resonates with you, we hope you'll consider becoming part of this way cool family of seekers and keepers of this long dream that is our church. Welcome to our annual poetry service. We're coming to you live from the Rotch Jones Duff House and Gardens here in lovely historic New Bedford, one of our neighbors down the street. We're very happy to have the Horizon Glass Poetry Group with us today. And we usually begin by lighting our chalice, but we cannot have a chalice lit in here today. So we will light a flame of love in our hearts and send that out today. And I will also say that if you would like to give to our church, your donations really help. Your kindness is appreciated. We have a lot of bills to pay. You can always send your donations old school, snail mail to 71 8th Street, First Unitarian Church, New Bedford, Massachusetts, 02740, or go to our website, www.uunewbedford.org, and you can find the donate button all the way down there. If you can't give right now, subscribe, click like over here, and hit that bell for the notification so you always know what new services are coming in First Unitarian in New Bedford. So I am going to begin this lovely service with our opening words. I write a birthday poem every year. Some people might know this. So I just turned 51 last week. Actually, it was pretty much the beginning of this week. And I spent it in P-Town, and it was lovely. So this is my at 51 poem. At 51, I report from the end of the land, all sand and rock where it meets the slate dark whale-full sea. This year has seen too many voyagers lost. My sweet pea son has sailed, like so many others, mothers, sons, and daughters, away to the secret place always just over the horizon. But the view from here is nonetheless startlingly beautiful. I can see the endless ocean of life and death dance like the waves before me. Even through the fog, I know where I'm going. I will navigate a new name and a new son and husband, and the honor of being a reverend, knowing I have come to earn it. And all this family and these friends, all of the weary souls I can congregate, we will be voyaging together. And it's going to be okay. Seas will often be unforgiving. That will never change. But I have plotted a course, I have set a destination, and there I will boldly go. So may it be. Now I am going to hand over this whole operation to Betlo and the poetry group, and I hope you really enjoy it. Take care.
Horizon Glass Poetry Workshop is proud to celebrate National Poetry Month today, virtually, with our 5th annual poetry service. Horizon Glass has been nurturing poets since 2015, has published 3 anthologies, and hosted many poetry readings. We've been meeting outdoors and virtually for the past year. Find us on Facebook at Horizon Glass Poetry Workshop if you'd like to join us. We are grateful for the support of Reverend Karen Anderson, the First Unitarian Church of New Bedford, and the Rotch Jones Duff House. A shout out to our valued members who will not be reading with us today: Diana Carnes, Cynthia Brenner, and Tracy Solomon. Our first reader is Rick Finneran.
Hello, I'm Rick Finneran. The first poem I'm going to read is a poem. It's metaphorical. It was has to do with the death of George Floyd. But I was recently reminded that it's been 30 years since the beating of Rodney King. But this is really a poem about anyone who's ever been oppressed. The name of the poem is The Scorn of the Wind. The scorn of the wind shapes the cypress. Barren limbs reach for something that no longer nourishes. The flow of sap interrupted, exposed roots grasping, in currents of air, the hawk soars above, a rabbit chewing clover in a field, a raindrop manipulates the mountain. My next poem is a response poem, and it just has to do with this last year and a lot of different things. At any rate, Bet suggested that there be some bongo drums played during it, so we don't have any bongo drums, so I'll just read it straight. All right, so the name of this poem is The New World Backbeat Collective. The chaotic sounds of bebop on the radio, snow falling on the city I love, the ships in the harbor lights aglow, brace myself against the cold, but I'm feeling it, hearing the bustling dream. America set in rhythms of hope, disjointed and feverish. Palmer Island seems to flicker green in the wintry mist, where daisies grow in the spring. Waves of commotion meet in the American night. In half-lit rooms, we seek dark corners, make love, sense possibilities, out into the daylight of sweat and compromise. On American avenues paved with bricks made without straw, vehicles travel across a new world backbeat collective. I tap out of sync, declare it democracy, and it is democracy. The old world's collapsing castles of antiquity, ours the Renaissance Xanadu. New Bedford, my home, New Bedford of the metaphor, where St. Tubman took refuge, clutching her pistol. The Acushnet flows into the ensemble. Swing and chime, America, swing and chime. My next poem is, actually, I'm going to dedicate this to Peter Whittemore. He was the great-grandson of Herman Melville. And actually, I knew him long ago when I lived up in Weymouth. And he recently died, I think back in January. But I knew him through a mutual friend, and I can remember hanging out at his house, and we went to a Bob Dylan concert. I met him there, and so forth. So he was a really great guy. But the name of this poem is To Touch the Earth. To touch the earth is to know me. I am that poet. Organic faith of trees arching towards the sun. The constellations freckled on my skin. Materialism's gravity, solid, unmalleable. All is malleable, abstract. Radiates from the fibers of atoms. The easily missed obtrusive or the subjective acute. Forever the poem. To touch the earth unites us. And finally, I'd like to end with my poem that I think is kind of funny because when I was younger, if you asked me if I'd write a poem about a rainbow, I would have said no. But I was, I don't know if anyone remembers, a couple of years ago, they had drag queen reading hour at the library for kids. And I just thought it was funny, but it was also inspirational. And then there was a backlash to that too, which I didn't totally get, but anyways, this is sort of great, inspired by that. The shimmer of the prism, glistening droplets in an atmospheric arch, the young and the old stirred by the occurrence of the rainbow, a heavenly illumination, an impermanent celestial reminder that we are all refracted, multicolored children of the light. Thank you.
A part of each Sunday worship is a time of silent reflection. We'll lead into this reflection with a poem called Morning Poem by American poet Mary Oliver. It's number 536 in our hymnal. Mary Oliver was a Pulitzer Prize-winning poet who was inspired by nature. We will conclude this silent meditation by ringing a bell. Morning poem. Each morning the world is created. Under the orange sticks of the sun, the heaped ashes of the night turn into leaves again and fasten themselves to the high branches, and the ponds appear like black cloth on which are painted islands of summer lilies. If it is your nature to be happy, you will swim away along the soft trails for hours, your imagination alighting everywhere. And if your spirit carries within it the thorn that is heavier than lead, if it is all you can do to keep on trudging, there is still somewhere deep within you a beast shouting that the earth is exactly what it wanted. Each pond with its blazing lilies is a prayer heard and answered lavishly each morning. Whether or not you have ever dared to be happy, whether or not you have ever dared to pray. Mary Oliver.
Hello, my name is Pamela Bullard. I've been coming to the Unitarian Church for about 4 years. I've been in the Horizon Glass group for about 3 years, and the group has been an amazing group of people that we've supported each other for our writing and had a lot of fun. And Karen Anderson and the other community of the church has been really a pleasure to deal with. So my first poem is bilingual. I'm going to read the English first and then the French. I was inspired by the poet Guillaume Apollinaire, and the name of his poem is Sous le pont Mirabeau from 1913. The refrain that's become well known to poets is Vienne la nuit, sonne l'heure. Les jours s'en vont, je demeure. Come the night, the hour sounds, the days go by, here I stay. So the English version is joy, sweetness, darkness. The night, the sweet night enveloped me. Slowly driving through the forest, there was nothing but peace. A gentle wind was blowing in the forest. The breeze caressed my face in the night so wise. Slowly I drove, windows open, not a sound was heard. But by the sea, the music enveloped me. Water and waves murmured their eternal sound. There I stayed, joy, sweetness, darkness, the night, my sister, enveloped me. Breathing the warm air, I dozed on the sand. The waves whistled and blew. The tide was rising, falling. I smelled the sea, perfume, sweetness, joy. The world was silent. The crescent moon shone in a starless sky and endless night. Sweetness, darkness, contentment. On the beach I was dreaming, what joy. May the night fall, may the hours sound. The days pass by, I remain. And in the French version, bonheur, noirceur, douceur, happiness, darkness, sweetness. La nuit douce m'enveloppait. Tout doucement je roulais à travers la forêt. Il n'y avait que la paix. Un vent doux soufflait très peu dans la forêt. Doucement au visage, la brise me touchait, dans la nuit si sage. Lentement je roulais, fenêtre ouverte, pas un son s'écoutait. Mais au bord de la mer, sa musique m'enveloppait. L'eau et les vagues murmuraient. Le son éternel de la mer se répétait. Là-bas, je suis restée. Bonheur, douceur, noirceur, la nuit, ma sœur, m'enveloppait avec douceur. Je respirais l'air tiède, je dormais sur la plage. Les vagues sifflaient, soufflaient, la marée montait, baissait. Je sentais la sel de la mer, senteur, douceur, bonheur. Le monde se taisait, la lune croissante brillait, un ciel sans étoiles, une nuit sans fin, noirceur, bonheur, douceur. Sur la plage, je rêvais, quel bonheur. Vienne la nuit, sonne l'heure, les jours s'en vont, je demeure. Next poem, little different subject, The Dream of the Eagle. We lay where we fell into a deep sleep. I awoke still wanting you, your mouth still on my breast, white as the moon. I didn't move, breathed slowly under your weight, closed my eyes to the violet dawn, wishing myself back to a moonrise on a lake. Our skin shone pure on the luminous sand, protected by the night. We kissed until we dreamt. We kissed as the moon rose and fell over the sacred lake. We kissed until we melted and became one with the moon and the stars. Converted to liquid, absorbed by the alabaster sand, we kissed until we dreamt. We kissed until we dreamt I was an eagle in the pale sky of morning, and you my partner, as we flew over worlds that could never be ours. Next one is called Spring Poem. When I awoke, the earth had turned emerald, pulsating with light. Jewels sparkled across my lawn, slanting rays golden, forsythia in brilliant splashes across the yard. When I awoke, the colors called to me. I thought maybe the darkness was gone. Azalea on evergreen, goldfinch on cherry blossom, the cardinal returns. When I awoke, the world had turned barren. You'd gone so suddenly you didn't even say goodbye. Left me to wonder what could have become of the man who touched my soul. He carried all the colors with him, sang to me as we wandered, wrote with me by the lake, waited for me to come out and play. When I awoke, around me all was cold and still. Loss crushed me. I woke up, mind full of ghosts. I dreamt I saw you at the door, but you were only there to touch my face one more time. We stood for a moment, soul to soul. Then I heard the axe fall as you chopped me from your life. Thank you.
My name is Bet Lowe. I've been a member of Horizon Glass for 5 years and find the process of workshopping poems invaluable. Poetry has been my voice during the pandemic, an important outlet for me to look beyond my fear and anxiety. I am grateful to all the Horizon Glass members who put up with my wonky spelling and questionable punctuation. The first 2 poems I wrote were part of the 2020 Poetry Marathon. The marathon is an online challenge to write 1 poem per hour for 24 hours. And the half marathon, which I did, is 1 poem per hour for 12 hours. It was a challenge. The first poem, and I got a poem in the book. So that was the first poem, which is called Strawberry Shortcake. Strawberry shortcake, summer fresh strawberry shortcake, tender crumbling cake, spill of glistening berries, mounds of whipped cream. Taste it, sublime perfection. Except look close. That berry holds half a worm. You never know when you're eating a worm. Life is like that too. It can still be sublime if you accept the worm. This one is in honor of Earth Month, and I call it Whose Home Is It Anyways? Uncovering the firewood to find Chipmunk's careful collection of acorns. Something so small moving so much. Start a new pile? Whose house is it anyways? Startled by the shriek of a wren, her big messy nest in my best basket. Hear her hungry nestlings screaming. Find another basket? Whose home is it anyways? Out to prune the elderberries, startled spotty fawn in the bracken below, caught by her enormous eyes. Prune another day, whose home is it anyways? Monarchs over the weedy milkweed patch find their perfect jewel box eggs. Joy is a butterfly's dance. Put off the mowing, whose home is it anyways? In a file at the courthouse is our name on a deed. This place is ours, but ours alone? Whose home is it anyways? And the final trio of poems is in honor of all of you who have been homeschooling unexpectedly for the past year. We homeschooled our difficult daughter for a couple of years and found we often had to threaten, cajole, and bribe her to do her schoolwork. Her 3rd grade unit on poetry, so dear to my heart, was a challenge. I told her we would also write a poem on any subject that she chose. So I'll read 3 poems and you get to figure out who wrote which one. They're all about daffodils. They're all titled Daffodil. Daffodil, do come with me. I will dance around you. I shall climb upon a hill. Oh, daffodil, come with me. I shall pick you and put you in a vase. Daffodil, I love you so, your smell. Daff, a dill, a dill. How nice it is to have some pretty daffodils. Daffodil. One morning I long to get my fill. I think of climbing up the hill. Beneath the birches white and still, I gaze upon you, daffodil. And daffodil. How pleasant to hear a tree frog's trill, for the rain to spill, to have a beer to swill, and to look upon a daffodil. That one was by my husband. Thank you so much, and happy spring.
Outstanding. I'm going to give you all you guys some applause here because that was wonderful. Thank you so much for joining with us this morning. Hold fast, church. Hold fast, people. We love you. Next Sunday, Yasmin will be on deck. You'll see me in 2 weeks because I'm getting married in like less than like just a little more than a week. Oh my goodness. So anyhow, when you see me again, I will be Karen LeBlanc. We'll see you then.